Hi, hello. Good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome back to QCAFE. So this is Kate. You're watching QCAFE. You're back to Moose and Core. Grabe guys, talaga. Ibang klase talaga yung vibe ngayon dahil malakas ang ulan. And I really hope na you guys are safe at home. And so excited kami as always to introduce to you our guest speaker for this evening dahil napaka-interesting ng topic natin for tonight, and I really hope that you get your weekly dose of inspiration here at our show. So allow me to introduce to you our guest speaker for this evening. He is a graduate of Ateneo de Manila University, a double degree holder with BS Chemistry and BS Computer Engineering. He has been involved with various organizations, an active member of the Toastmasters International, where he won first runner-up in an impromptu speech category, and a champion in the speech evaluation category in 1997. He served as a district leader from area governor up to district governor from 1997 to 2005. Making our country rank as the #1 district in the Toastmasters organization in 2005. On top of his Toastmaster roles, he is the head coordinator at the Ateneo Chemistry Society Alumni Association, a certified HR professional, a certified life coach, a board trustee at the Credit Management Association of the Philippines, and the chairman of the Professional Chess Association of the Philippines. Please welcome to our virtual stage the president of Wizards at Work X Holding Incorporated, one of the men behind PC Works, Mr. Michael Angelo Mike Chua. Hi, Sir Mike. Welcome po to Q Cafe. You're on mute, sir.
Oh nga. Good evening. Hello, Kate, and good evening to all the fans of Kate and Muzen.
Grabe si Char.
Magandang gabi sa iyo. Oo.
Sobrang excited namin ngayon, sir, because feeling ko talaga, majority of our viewers most likely nakabili ng from PC Works. Like,
Sana.
starting up ako nung like college days ko, most of my computer needs talaga, PC Works ako pumupunta. Kasi it's convenient for me kasi it's sa Gilmore lang siya. Tapos, ayan. And of course, everything is cheap. I mean, compared, di ba, to what is available in the market. So excited kami tonight sa sharing niyo, sir, because we will be talking about business again. So ayan, take it away, Sir Mike.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let me just put on my share screen and we can start from there. And so, good evening to all again. Yeah, Kate mentioned that when she said college days, medyo na-shock ako. Bata pa, no? Kate, ako, I might be looking, 40s or 50s, but actually I've been in business for the past 30 years. But even before I started business, I actually already worked in the corporate world. So, wag na natin pag-usapan ng age, no? Well, let's not put a timestamp on our experiences. So here I am to share with you some nuggets, no? Business nuggets for those who are starting up in business and what to watch out for. So these are all things, or some things that I picked up over the past few decades that I think could help when you're setting your career and your operations. Okay. So as you mentioned, I am the president of Wizards at Works Holding Inc. It's actually the holding company and the shared services company of a group of companies, no? And PC Works is one of them. We also have Claritrade, we also have InfoWorks, Action Labs. These are the core businesses in IT, in retail, in corporate, in services, in solutions. So it's actually a group which we started way back in 1996. So lapit na mag 30 years rin. But I actually started business in 1992. So medyo ako, I was working with a company called Petrochem and Petrocorp. And yet on the side, I was doing business with some of my friends who have been with me since grade school, and up to today, we're still in business together. So these are the things that I would like to pick up and share with you. So I have 3 nuggets to share tonight. No, I can give you a lot, but I don't want to overload. So just 3 main points. Now, so the first one is business sense number 1. When you're starting a business, people will always think, we have to make money, And that's true. You making money or making income is of primary concern. You want to make tubo, diba? But let's not forget cash flow. In my early years, when we were starting up our stores in our business in the IT industry, I realized something. If you don't make money for a while, you can survive. But if you run out of money and wala kang pang sweldo sa mga tao mo on the 15th and the 30th, pwede ka na magsara ka agad. Diba? Totoo yan. Pwede ka, you're losing money for 2-3 months. But if you don't have enough money to pay for your operational expenses, then that's very critical. So when you're starting business, while you're watching your bottom line, the cash flow, you have to keep an eye also on your cash flow, your working capital. So when you're starting business, you always think of how much money you need to start it off. Madali kasi sabihin na minsan laway lang, di ba? Ang puhunan natin. But you still have to pay salaries, especially if you have some back end to support. You have rent to pay, and these are very critical. So you have to make sure that there is enough money in your war chest at least for a few months, as you build up your market, as you build up your business. So that is business sense number one. Always make sure that cash flow is very healthy, as important or more important than the income you are making, especially for the first few months. This was shared to me by my first boss in my life, Mr. Carlos De Leon in Petrochem. Uh, when we set up an endeavor, a new petrochemical plant in Morong, Bataan, way back in the early 90s, before you were born, Kate. No? Um, it was a big project, and we're looking at a $500 million dollar plant. And it was very important that, and this is what he imparted with me, no? The cash flow is more important than income, especially at the start of operations. You need to keep the people salaried, you need to keep everybody properly paid, you need to pay the rent. And as you are paying this, make sure that you are building up your operations and your market to the point that in a few months or at most a year, you are able to generate enough income so that your cash flow will be smooth as you go along. Okay? So that's business sense number one. People always think of income only, but always think also of your cash flow. Now, the second thing that I would like to share, business sense number two, is this: differentiate yourself from competitors. You know, the first big segment of our operations was actually in trading. We were in the retail business and the corporate business now. So what am I selling? As an example, we're selling computers, we're selling laptops, we're selling hard disks, we're selling printers, etc. So always when we do our strat plan, we're always thinking we have to be different from our competitors. What can we be different? Can we sell a better printer? Can we sell a better laptop? Can we price ourselves better? But you know, the IT industry is very large and very, very competitive. You cannot really differentiate yourself from pricing and from the models of the printers or laptops or computers that are out in the market. Especially you mentioned, Kate, in Gilmore. You know, you go to the building, there are like 12, 15 stores all in one building. You go and ask for a quotation from my store. You go to the next 5 stores next to me, they're going to give you the same specs, they're going to give you the same model, and they're probably going to give you the same price. That's how competitive it is. So you need to identify what differentiates you. If you go into trading, it's not the product that will differentiate you. It is your service. So PC Works as a retail store differentiates itself with its primary product, which is customer service. And some people really miss that. People, you know, when there was a boom in, for example, the milk tea business, suddenly in a few months, you see every street, every corner, every mall, so many milk tea stores, right? Everybody is selling milk tea stores. But if you think about it, almost all the milk teas offer the same thing. The same pearls, the same ingredients. It's just the branding. But more than the branding, it is the service. People go back and buy from you because you have a nice salesperson up front in the store. You have a fast delivery. Your quality is good in terms of service. And that's what you need to identify. What is your niche difference? It might not be the product. It might be your delivery. And a lot of people miss that. So when you start your business, especially when you're selling something that everybody else is selling also out there, be different with the way you deliver that product, the customer service. And that is something that you have a hold on to, because if you really want to grow a business, you need to have very, very good customer service. You need to think of the customer what he wants and what can really be beneficial to him or her. So that is what business sense number 2 is. No? So very important yan, that you are able to identify what is your niche, what makes you different from the other mom and pop stores that are around you. Now, I'm going to share with you the third one. And this might be a little bit controversial, and maybe half of our audience will leave when I show this. Business sense number 3, no spouse involved. Okay, before your audience leave, let me do a little explanation. When my parents were in business, they went into business, a hamburger chain in downtown Manila. This was in the 70s and the 80s. He went into business with his best friend. Okay. And being a small endeavor at the start, my dad and his best friend involved their wives, my mom and his best friend's wife. So the four of them operated the business. You know, they have been best friends for more than a decade or two, and they went into business. And within 3 months, they parted ways. Why? Why? When you involve your wives or your spouse or relatives in, chances are the other side might not be amenable to the way the other spouse is working. So parang ganun eh. My dad could not really order around or reprimand the wife of his best friend, right? Because the best friend will take offense. That's the problem when you involve relatives. Okay. So here's the thing. When we started PC Works and InfoWorks, the first thing I did was lay out rule number 1: no wives involved. No wives involved. No relatives involved. So what we did is 3 of us, we've been best friends since grade school, going to high school, college, and then after a few years went into business. We made sure that none of our relatives were getting in. Ultimately or subsequently, there were some relatives who came in on some consulting basis. But the key here is we had to professionalize everything. So the key here actually of business sense, number 3, when I say no spouse involved, is you need to keep everything professional. When you're starting businesses, chances are you're going into business with friends, with people you trust, with people you have a relationship with. Because these are the people who you are familiar with and you can work along with. You know that. But the people that they bring in might not be. So the foundation of a strong business, whether you actually involve your relatives or not, is to make sure that you keep everything professional. Even if you work with your best friend, lay down the framework, lay down the process, the parameters, the policies. Okay? Mahirap yung you start a business and then, okay, anong kita? Basta, kuha ka lang dito, kuha ka lang doon. Diba? Oh, ito, may discount tayo for relatives. Oh, ito. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ako, when I started and I bought a computer from our company, I pay for it. When my business partner gets something, he pays for it. We made sure that the company is kept very professional and very corporate, and the accounting is in proper order. If you don't have that, no matter what you do, even if trust is more than 100% between you and your friends and your business partners, if you don't keep your accounting loud and clear, black and white, I can almost guarantee that the business will not last long. Okay. So there's a lot of temptation to let to just be okay na yan kasi magkaibigan naman kami. My advice, and this is really from 30 years of business, keep it as professional as you can. Hire or employ people based on their merits, based on their professionalism, and not just be based on loyalty or relativity. Okay, so these are the most important things. So business sense number 1, business sense number 2, business sense number 3. So let me just quickly summarize these 3. Cash flow is king, as I mentioned. Cash flow is more important than net income, especially at the start of a business. You need to keep the money flowing. So that's critical. Be different. Don't be just like any other store next to you. You have to be a store or a business that people will come back because you have something that the others do not have. Even when you're selling something that everybody else is selling, make a different service or delivery. That is my advice. Okay. And number 3, keep it professional. Keep it as professional and as corporate as possible. Some people don't like documenting policies, processes, but even at the start of day 1 businesses, make sure you start documenting processes. Make sure you start documenting what can be done and what cannot be done. These are the three critical things to keep your business alive and that a business that will last long. And all this will only work. There's one more sense now. Why do you go into business? Why do you go into business? Of course, to make money. Of course, to sustain a livelihood, right? But what kind of business are you going into? And this last nugget that I would like to share is try to go into something that you are passionate about. Okay. It is a lot easier to sustain and grow a business that you are interested in. Not just because it is something that is very popular right now. Like my example a while ago. Because everybody's going to milk tea. I want to go into milk tea. Oh, everybody's going into chicken wings. I'm going to go into chicken wings. If you don't have a passion for food or drinks, that's not going to work. That's not going to work because when a fad dies and you don't have the passion to continue it, that's going to stop you cold in your tracks. So look for something that you are passionate with, something that even if things come to push and shove, you still want to continue with it because that is something that interests you. Let me give another example. Aside from computers, my passion, and some of my friends know this, I'm very passionate about wine and cheese. Okay, food. Okay, so I've been experimenting in how to grow a small business with that. Whether it takes off or not, I am doing something that I like. Whether I'm making money or not, I am always going back to it and trying to grow that business. And I am sure that if I put enough time and effort to it, it will grow. It will become big because I like it. So do something that you like. Do something that you like and that you can manage to expound on, to experiment on, and something that you can naturally want to learn and grow. That's how to grow a business. Okay, so there, I'm just sharing a few nuggets for how to start up a business. No, so again, just to quickly, aside from being passionate, make sure your working capital is there. Make sure you know what makes you different from the others, and keep the business professional from day 1. Okay? So, Kate, back to you.
Grabe! Oh my gosh! Ito talaga yung dapat talaga nating i-mindset. These are the examples of a good mindset talaga when it comes to business. And one of the things that I really admire in your short but very informative talk, no, Sir Mike, is that we really need to put value where it is needed. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget kasi talaga. Minsan akala natin the moment that we put up a business, our purpose is to earn. Which is, yes, oo, andun siya. Pero definitely, you have to consider factors such as, number one, cash flow. Siyempre, hindi natin talaga to initially naiisip eh. Akala natin these are the things that will come na lang. Pero dapat talaga, these are the things na yung parang foundation siya. Dapat doon talaga siya nagsisimula.
Yeah.
Sir, my question, no, ever since the pandemic, so alam naman natin na nag-boom yung IT industry for the past years because of what happened nga na everything was suddenly lahat na lang online, and then everybody kept buying na different types of things, no? So how was it for you, Sir Mike? What was the parang how was the business, and then did you even have challenges, or if so, what were the challenges that you experienced in your industry when the pandemic happened?
Okay. Yeah, we actually were fortunate because even before the pandemic started, our organization was already involved with online selling. We have a market presence with Lazada.
Yeah.
Of course, our website is also there. You can inquire and we'll get in touch with you to sell to you. And then we were already starting with Shopee at that time. So when there was a shutdown because of the pandemic, the retail stores were closed. People were not able to sell here in the offices, in our mall stores. We were able to shift our resources so that we were able to still continue and grow our market presence in the online business. So flexibility is also very important. And we were really fortunate na our venues or avenues to sell online were already established. So nakatulong talaga yun. And yung pag-shutdown natin gave us also the time and time really to rehash and refocus our efficiency in terms of the back end yung delivery, the logistics, the how to sell online and working from home, how to reach out, diba? So ito yung mga nagkataon na we were almost there, we were ready with it. It's not a majority of the IT companies were ready. I wouldn't say 100%, but most of us were, and that was very good. So yeah, the IT industry boomed during the pandemic, and hopefully tuloy-tuloy. Not the pandemic, the business.
Yes, of course. Oo naman. Grabe. Actually, kanina na-mention nyo nga po, no, yung location ng inyong store sa Gilmore, which is true. What will really separate you from the rest of your competitors, di ba? Kasi pare-parehas lang naman talaga kayo ng product. The product is there. It's already out in the market. Everybody has it. Ngayon, mag-iiba na lang yan. Depende sa kung magkano nila ibibenta, and then kung ano yung mga freebies na sinasabi.
Yeah.
Kasi doon nagkakatalo eh. Halimbawa, pag bumili ka ng laptop, ay may free na po to na mouse, ma'am. O, diba? Yung mga ganun-ganun kasi. Ako personally, one of the things that I loved about PC Works, this is prior to me knowing that PC Works was your business, Sir Micah. I like that company because of the flexi payment options.
Yes.
Kasi there's credit card option for it.
Yeah.
Kasi yung iba, wala. Kaya, basta, ganun sila. Wala silang ganun. Most of us, di ba, we do our transactions cashless na, ganyan. So, isa din naman yon sa dahilan. Kaya gusto ko siya. Kasi I was able to buy my own laptop talaga na hindi si mama ang bumili, kumbaga. Because I could afford it because of the flexi nga na payment options. So, kagaya ng minention nyo kanina about your service, about what separates you from your competitors. So, gusto ko lang malaman, Sir Mike, no, at ng ating mga listeners din, no, with your company, the PC Works, what is your parang, ito yung masasabi mo na this separates me talaga. Ito yung trait ng company ko na dahilan kaya feeling ko we are being noticed more in the market, mas tiwala yung mga tao sa amin. Do you have that certain thing na you feel you're confident na ito yon?
One of the strengths ng organization namin is that we are in different fields of the IT business. As I mentioned, we are a group of companies, diba? So we have a retail arm, the PC Works that you see. Okay, but we also have Inforworks, which caters to institutional and government and corporate selling. We have Action Labs that does managed services, solution services, infrastructure, IT infrastructure selling solutions, and security solutions. No? And we have another company called Claritrade that is a distributor arm. Okay, so this is what probably makes us a little bit different from the others. We're in the different fields of IT. Kasi, for example, there are very strong IT companies that are purely in retail.
Yes.
And that's their strength. But they don't have the other facets or other segments of the IT industry. This is also something like, you're putting eggs in different baskets.
Yes.
So you're not just too focused on one segment of the IT industry. In our case, we were able to balance things a little bit, which is very important when there are down times, especially during the pandemic. Actually, for example, those that are purely in retail and walang online, if you're just mall-based, diba?
Yes.
As an example, when the mall shut down, where do you get your numbers? Where do you get your traffic? Wala, diba? So when the corporations shut down and you're just in corporate selling, who do you sell to when the companies sell? So it's important that you have some distribution of your target markets, no? And that will keep you afloat.
Kasi parang one-stop shop yung dating nyo nun. Kasi
something like that.
Diba? You can be able to service different needs of a client. Kasi let's face it, our clients are not really just individuals.
Correct.
Diba? Kumbaga, sabi nga dito ni Miss Ann, no, foolproof business in a way. Kasi this way, you were able to diversify all the venues na pwedeng pasukin ng ganitong klaseng industry. Kasi it's an entire industry naman eh. Malaki talaga. And it's not just retailing. It's not just providing a certain type of service. So to be able to build your business na solution-based kayo, this is really one of the things that will be an edge pagdating sa mga competition, no?
That's true.
Nakakatuwa kasi actually talaga, ito yung mga minsan hindi natin naiisip kasi akala natin, enough na you provide this certain venue, okay na to, ito na, ganyan. But good. Ayan. Okay, so sa next...
And that's actually, Kate, that's true also not just in the IT business. Any business, you have to have different or at least two, di ba? 2 or 3 sources of revenues, diba?
Yes. Tama. Kasi nga naman talaga, you will never know. There's no such thing talaga as business na parang hindi magda-down.
Correct.
Lahat talaga.
It's a cycle. There's always a sunrise, sunset on different markets.
Yeah, may mga rise and fall talaga. Depende ang lahat ng klase ng industry. And you can't say na, mag-food business ako kasi hindi mawawala ang food business. Yung mga ganon. Kasi people, akala nila ganon lang yung mga bagay-bagay.
Yeah.
And of course, with the changing times, no? We need to be able to adapt. Like, kung gaano kabilis ang nangyari, biglang nag-boom ang GCash. Na parang everybody is online payment, everybody is ganito. So parang to be able, your business to adapt to that na dapat, yung business ko pala, dapat may Dragon Pay na ako. Yung mga ganon. Correct. Yung options for payment nga, yung iba biglang nagkaroon na ng PayPal options, mga ganon. It's because nakita nila na people are using different platforms and everything. And isa pa would be your social media presence. Kasi eto na talaga, the world has become a big reality TV.
Digital.
Isa pa yan. Dahil digital na tayo ngayon, parang everything talaga, you can see it everywhere na talaga. Data is being transferred online na. Facebook is monitoring you. What are your algorithm?
That's true.
Diba? What are you searching
Facebook
for?
can predict what you need and what you want.
Yes. Imagine nag-search lang ako sa search sa Facebook. Hindi pa nga siya sa marketplace eh. Sa search button lang ng Facebook, I was just searching for Canva. Tapos biglang ang daming ads. Ang daming sponsored.
All related products are being sent to you.
'Di ba? So for your business to be able to, have an edge in whatever industry you're in, you need to be visible.
Correct.
Talaga, no?
Yeah.
Yan. So we have another question here, no, Sir Mike. It asks, okay. So usually po ba, for you, how much capital do you need to start a business?
That's there's no figure to say, no. When we started in 1992 in the computer business, me and my partners, we put up the minimum required 62,500 pesos to start a 1 million corporation.
Okay.
But of course, we had some resources to pull in if needed, diba? So that's the key. You have standby resources, diba? And you don't have to put it all in unless it's needed naman. Kasi if you are able to generate revenues without pulling in the standby resources, that's the best. That's the best. But on just to have a ballpark figure. Normally, when people ask me, I ask them, how much do you need to operate for the next 6 months if you don't have revenues? You should have that amount as standby. For example, you have rent of 20,000, you're paying 30,000 for salaries, other stuff. So let's say around 50,000. So you should have 300,000 on standby. It doesn't have to be in the company. Okay, you can have maybe 100,000 in the company, another 200,000 somewhere that you, as needed, can pull in if there is no revenue. So you should have like 6 months working capital. That's my recommendation.
That's a very ideal computation, no? Kasi minsan akala natin oras na magtayo ka ng business. Okay na basta na pull in mo na yung capital.
Correct. Akala natin the moment you pay the down payment for the advance rental, the security deposit, you bought the equipment, diba? May pangsweldo ka for the month. Okay na. It cannot work that way. You have to make a realistic assumption na for a few months, you might not be making money. Okay sana if you make money. But if you don't, you need to have those money that you can pull in. It may be like your mom's savings or your a standby loan that you can easily get if needed. But these are standbys that you need to have an assurance or almost an assurance of that you can pull in as needed.
Yeah. So guys, talaga, basically, putting up a business is no easy task. You need proper research for it. You need to really be financially ready for it. You can't just say na you're passionate about it and then go ka na agad. It's simply not just that. Although there are businesses with very parang little to no capital, yung mga tipong puhunan mo lang, sarili mo lang talaga.
Yes.
Pero if i-consider mo, marami ka pa rin, may pinuhunanan ka pa rin. Like let's say for example, yung computer na ginamit mo for it, cellphone mo, if you're gonna use it for the business, diba?
Correct.
So at the end of the day, there are still different types of factors when it comes to putting up a business. And we really recommend that you do your research talaga and really prepare for it financially. Gaya nga ng sinabi ni Sir Mike, no? Hindi natin sure kung minsan rainy day, diba? So hindi natin alam. So we need to
rainy day.
So literally. So we need to know talaga what we're gonna do with our businesses. You mentioned in your last part of your talk, no, Sir Mike, na parang no spouse. na no spouse.
No spouse. Okay, sige.
Wala tayong
Controversial ba?
wala tayong family relations masyado, which is ideal naman talaga. Because, sometimes it's hard for us to separate personal relationships and business. Proven na talaga yan for the longest time, no? But my question is this, no, Sir Mike? If ever na hindi talaga pwedeng hindi, if ever talaga na wala kang choice, na kunwari the business is established ng parang family business, parang ganon, 'di ba? As a child o kaya as a relative, if you will be in bed with your family members in a business, what's the number one thing that you think na dapat malay yung ground? Na parang ano yung pag family business ito, how do you think will you make it work? What is the thing that they need?
Tama ka, no? In the real world naman, most of the small businesses start out as family business or even, businesses among relations or friends, di ba?
Yes.
So the spouse is actually as a generic term, meaning to say people who you are close to, di ba? Na may emotional attachment. Kasi yun ang problem. Actually, the emotional attachment overlaps with the professional setup ng isang company or a business. Diba? Number one that you have to is lay down the roles and responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be very clear. The roles and responsibilities of each person in the among family or even not even the family, no, even basta among the business partners, those who are doing the operations. Kailangan lay down very, very clearly your role, your function, your limitations on the benefits, the salaries. Kailangan clear. And it has to be as equitable with each person, depending on their productivity, depending on make it very clear na people are getting paid or people can get paid based on their contribution. It's not because kuya ka, kaya mas malaki sweldo mo, asawa ka, kaya mas malaki ang sweldo mo, o may allowance ka, maski wala kang ginagawa. It should not be that way. That has to be very clear. No?
Yes.
And aside from that, ito, hindi ko nabanggit, no? Don't mix in your personal expenses. Kasi di ba pag family business, sometimes yung pati pag lunch ko lang sa labas, charge sa company na lang.
Oo.
Diba may mga ganon?
Meron, yes.
That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Okay lang if the company is making a lot of money.
Mm-mm.
Diba? And it becomes a very, very small matter. But even small matters like that, even trivial matters like that, can become irritants in the future.
Yes.
So lay down the rules. If somebody can charge their lunch, then everybody should be able to charge their lunch, but up to a certain extent, equitable dapat. No?
Totoo. Mag-set ng allowance. Char.
Mag-set ng parameters.
Yes.
Parameters. That's the key. Set parameters for all. Diba?
Yes.
Walang tatay-tatay, walang asawa-asawa kasi everybody is a worker. Even if they are senior,
Yes.
everybody has their role to make a business prosper.
Yes. Especially in businesses, having boundaries is really
Correct.
important. Kasi that really helps us kung paano mag-prosper yung business. Kasi wala namang nagtayo ng business, no, Sir Mike, na in-expect nila na malugi sila.
Of
diba?
course.
Lagi, ang purpose natin to build up a business is to earn profit.
Yes.
So in order for you to
everybody happy, dapat.
Dapat lahat ng facets, lahat talaga maasikaso nyo as a family, kasi since family nga ito, mailalatag talaga siya ng full extent na everybody's gonna be happy naman with all of the divisions, kumbaga. Ayan. So before I let you go, last question na, Sir Mike, no?
Yes.
At what year do you think you can declare that you know na yung business mo is stable na siya? Kasi for the longest time, no, sabi nyo nga, ayan, 30 years na yung business ninyo.
Yeah.
So, in the 30 years of the business, at what year were you able to say na, okay, sufficient na yung business, ano na siya, stable na siya? Kasi, siguro, no, just to give parang, parang background dun sa question, no? Kasi, let's say nga, ayun, let's peg it as, let's say, family business siya, ganyan. Technically, employed ka ng business mo, di ba?
True.
Self-employed ka. Ganyan. Pero ang business mo, malalaman mo parang nagte-take off na siya pag hindi ka na self-employed na yung tipong hindi nakaka-function yung business mo nang wala ka doon physically.
Tama.
Diba?
Actually.
Diba? Yun yung mga ano eh. Kasi
Correct.
if you're still there, diba? So,
Yeah.
having said that, no, when can you say, in the longest time, when can you say na nasabi mo talaga na, okay, stable na yung business ko. Kailangan na lang to parang scale na lang siya ng scale, but it's stable already.
Actually, yung sagot ko nasagot mo eh. It is at the time in my is when I knew that if I don't come to the office for a few weeks, the people, the organization can run things as smoothly as if I am there. Okay. So succession planning is also very important. Let me share with you an anecdote. I had a meeting with my accounting team many years back, almost siguro a decade na. And one of my managers there, credit and collection head, I was asking them, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? And ito yung sagot niya. Ito yung sagot niya, which struck me and made me realize that I am in the right track. Sagot niya sa akin, Sir Mike, I want to be in your position 5 to 10 years from now.
Wow.
So that if I take over what you're doing, you can do more things other than what you're doing now. I want to free up your time so that you can do more things for the organization.
Yes.
Okay? So if you have people like that and you train your people enough that they can take over what you are doing now, that's the time that you can now do more things. Diba? Do more things. Like, yung tama ka, more on leveling up the organization rather than doing day-to-day operations.
Totoo.
People should be doing or thinking of how to strategize to expand the business rather than doing the business. Of course, at the start, puro hands-on tayo. When I started, Kate, ako yung pumupunta sa kliyente, ako yung nangongolekta, ako yung nagde-deliver, nangongolekta. Ganun nag-start eh. Everybody starts that way. Diba? You have to be hands-on. But as you have lesser hands-on and you're doing more thinking and strategizing, then that's a time you can say na okay na yung business.
Grabe. Natatawa ako, Sir Mike, kasi na-imagine ko yung sarili ko as you're talking about what you're saying. Kasi the family business that we have right now, it's been existing for like more than 15 years na. Para lang kaming sari-sari store. Pagkatapos, naging biglang hypermarket. Ganon. So ngayon, my mom, so she started the business. Actually, hindi nga eh. Sinuportahan lang niya yung kuya ko. Kasi yung kuya ko, yung brainchild niya talaga yung business natin eh. Kasi siya yung graphic artist. Siya yung artistic sa amin, kumbaga. So, our business, by the way, is printing company.
Okay.
Tapos nagkataon lang na na-scale up nila mama kasi marami silang kakilala. So, a lot of people wanted to, parang gave them a chance to do the business. So, andyan yung for like almost 8 years kami nagsusupply ng uniform ng police, yung mga ganong stuff. Okay. So because of that, it was able to fund the business.
Yes.
Na napalaki yung business in a way. Pero I always tease my mom. Kasi I always tell her, hindi ka business owner. Self-employed ka. The business cannot function without you. Hindi kaya eh. Because my mom is so old school that she built the business around her.
And she's hands-on. Very hands-on.
Like, day-to-day operations na parang there are decisions na we cannot make if she will not say yes to it. Parang ganon. So, that was the time na parang me and my brothers decided na, no, we need to stop this na kasi mag-senior na rin siya, gusto na namin mag-retire siya, ganyan. So, that's when parang I was trying to build the mindset nga of what you're talking about. Actually, the entire talk that you discussed earlier is basically me trying to encourage my brothers na ganito tayo mag-isip. Kasi we can't like, diba? How are you gonna scale your business if your mindset is gonna be still the same? Na okay lang, basta matapos natin yung day-to-day operations, okay lang, basta ma-service natin yung mga clients natin right now. Because I always tell them, I wanna do the business kahit nagbabakasyon ako. I wanna be able to give that to my employees as well. Na afford din nila magbakasyon. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's the type of mindset na parang sabi ko, okay, feeling ko that's the shift that I need to be able to scale the business that our family has. So sa mga viewers and listeners namin dyan na nanonood at sa mga manunood pa, lalo na yung mga team replay natin dyan, please know na kung ano man ang napapakinggan nyo dito sa ating episode right now sa Business Sense, these are just ideologies. These are just based on our personal experiences, and then based on din kung ano yung mga through the years kumbaga na napagdaanan din as business owners and entrepreneurs. So yeah, thank you so much, no, Sir Mike, for sharing this with us.
My pleasure, Kate.
Amazing, no, to really listen to these types of stories kasi. Because these are the types of stories that would really, kumbaga, pupukaw ng pupukaw ng damdamin mo talaga eh. Parang gigising ng katawang lupa mo pagdating sa pagnenegosyo. Because business is actually so interesting. It's really energizing in such iba. When you're really not employed at ikaw talaga ay nagbe-business, nagnenegosyo ka, iba yung drive. Especially to know that this is yours. So these are the types of mindset na maganda as listeners na papakinggan nyo to ngayon para if ever magawa nyo i-shift kung kailangan yung mga current ninyo na mga way of thinking, especially pagdating sa pagnenegosyo. So maraming salamat, Sir Mike, for sharing with us your X number of years na experience pagdating sa pagbe-business na I really believe na sobrang powerful siya kasi you get to share the spark to your employees as well. So ayan. So once again, thank you so much po for watching us here on QCAFE. Maraming salamat po for joining us, Sir Mike. And
Salamat.
yes, magkita-kita po tayo ulit next week, same time, same place here at Moose & Core. Maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsuporta at pakikinig at pare-parehas tayong natututo actually. So ito talaga yung goal natin, to really start conversations that matter. And we hope we've earned the privilege of your time as always, and magkita-kita po ulit tayo next week. So Ninang Kate signing out. Bye guys! Thank you!
Bye! More power to Muzen!